Good morning, सबको मेरा नमस्कार. This is International Master and FIDE Senior Trainer Sekhar Sahu welcomes you. On behalf of Sports Authority of Gujarat and Gujarat State Chess Session to this intermediate training session. I will be covering knight and pawn endgame. We are dealing with both sides having knight. Then I will discuss maybe some interesting endgames, and time permits I will go to some classic games. Let's have a look at this position is white to play. How should white play now? Basically black wants to exchange his pawn and it is a draw. The threat is to play f5 and then it is a draw. So what should you do now? The black to play, it's a easy draw. It is a draw. So what should you? Hello, Kian Saha, Madhav, Bashar Parikh, Prince Gandhi, Subankar Sarkar, Mukund Agarwal, Vivan Vishal Saha, and Paresh Kumar and others, Om Desai, and Kishore Saha. If black to play, he will play immediate f5 and it is a draw. So you should work out on this. Hello Khanak, dekho Vaidya. It is very logical and simple. I told you the threat. You have to first meet the threat. Knight versus king is a draw. Two knights versus king also draw. Not one knight, Paris, even two knights. I will deal with that position, two knight versus king, and upon the defending side has a pawn. I will deal such positions. I will devote one session to some special endings. Not one, maybe I need few sessions. Good morning, Subrat. It depends. If the pawn on 7th rank and knight supports the pawn, rook pawn is a draw. Knight e3, no. Okay, now Vivan Vishal Shah stopping the threat. You play knight e3, but knight becomes passive. You see, after knight e3, you will have to wait. Knight cannot move. So you put knight in a more flexible position. That means we have a choice. Vivan Vishal Shah. Hello, Niranjan. Good morning. How are you, Niranjan? Now that means you see, you have a choice to the threat is f5. Knight e3 stops the threat, but knight is passive. So knight is better placed on f4 because f5 does not work. So knight f4 is a more active place and meeting the threat also. And then the king will make headway via d5. So the correct plan, knight e3 is, I don't think it is a draw. So knight f4 is the correct move. Now he has nothing better. f5 doesn't work. So knight e8. Now the king attacks. King pawn ending is lost. There is no need to discuss. He can't play knight e6. So only move. If you play knight to e8, suppose you knight to e8, then this is Zugzwang. Ultimately, he will just get into Zugzwang. Okay? And then knight g7, pawn to h6 will come. So you cannot play knight e8, forced. Now, such situation normally does not come in knight ending, but here we can control the knight. The knight is almost trapped. The knight has to Knight is running away via b4. Just control knight d3 and it is winning. Yeah. Thank you Niranjan. h6 does not work in that position. Now knight d3. Now knight controls these two squares and the king is watching the knight. And the f5 doesn't work. After f5 I take and two pawns will win easily. And now if you play, now he plays in the game king. If you play knight to b8, suppose you play knight b8, I will attack the knight and knight is trapped. Knight b8, king c7. And knight a6, king b7, knight is trapped. So he has to play. Now the point is, if you go, it is very important how to find a plan, especially this type of endgame. I am telling the typical knight endings. Now white is winning the game. I give you time. I give you 3 minutes time. Please think and find out how can white win this position. We are very close to win now. I want few participation. Some players, please participate and tell me how should white win this position. In endgame, there are few things. Accuracy is required. Number one, and you have to see very much in time. Time plays a very important role. One tempo, too precious in endgame. So you have to be always very careful about your tempo or not losing time. Then second thing is you have to be very accurate and play methodically. So Bhivan Vishal Shah and Paris Kumar, they find out the knight trapped. Hello Parth Kuntal Rawal, welcome. I will tell you, I am really I planned it that endgame is essential, so natural moves will not. For example, king b7, knight is trapped, but actually it is a draw. For example, suppose you play king b7, he will play, he will play king to h6, king into knight f5 draw. Suppose you play king b7, it is a draw. Suppose he will play now draw, king h6, you take the knight, now pawn push. You have to take the pawn, there is nothing. Now pawn into pawn, king into h5 draw. Now he is giving a threat, no matter you push the pawn or do whatever, the king is coming. Draw. So we should not fall for this. So here he plays knight d3. Now he plays king. Now king e7. This is the point. Now going for that, winning the knight, you will draw. Hello Rakshit. Now you control the knight. He wants to give some check, control the knight. And now it is winning. The pawn is lost and two connected pawns, it is an easy win. Okay, it is an easy win. So the whole point is your king has to be active. Okay, we go for the second diagram. Now this position is between, Grandmaster Arthur Yusupov is black. He is a great player, great author, and his specialty, he was very good in endgame and very good in attack. It is a rare combination. It is a very rare combination with players. They are good in endgame and good in attack. So that was with Yusupov. He was good in opening also. Lot of books. Okay. How should black play now? the answer is almost practically forced black to play. Because the knight cannot move. If you move the knight, then a knight e6 check is coming. So the answer is natural. He has to push the pawn. There is nothing to think now. So he will push the pawn. And now he will give. White will try his own initiative, knight check. Now if you retreat king h6, then white king will catch with f4. So he plays king g4. So now white will make a trick, knight into g7. Knight into g7. This is the point. So is it now draw? Is this a draw? Paresh Kumar, now knight into, now I am asking, is this diagram a draw? Both pawns are 3 squares away. H3 wins. Okay, so H3 is winning. Takes, push, queen, push. So is this position winning? Is this position winning for black now? Okay, show me the win. How can white win this position? Find out. Still, it is not that easy. I want to show me. Paresh Kumar says queen h8 check. No. No, you are missing a link. Queen h8 check, he can give knight f6 check. White can play knight f6 check. On king g5, you can queen. It is not a blunder. Queen h8 is not a blunder. Queen h8, knight f6 check, king g5, pawn queen on f8, and there is a fork. So queen h8 check, it is knight f6 is not a blunder. So there is a win, there is a win. Why it is winning? The black king is very close to the pawn. Now, as you already have discussed, and somebody wrote, Paresh Kumar wrote, queen h8 check is a draw. Knight check is coming. But how about queen h5 check? How about queen h5 check? That is winning. Queen h5 check is winning the game. because the king is forced. Now check. Again king e7 is forced. Now queen c5 check. It is enough. And now the king will come. Now the king will, you have time. So you cannot move the king. If you move the king, even queen f8 is also enough. If you move the king, king g6 is king g5 also enough. So the only move knight to d6 now. He cannot move the king. Only move knight d6. Other moves, king f6. This is a tough job. Okay, this is probably draw because bishop pawn. But in the game he blunder knight here. This is a blunder. Can somebody show me how can black win this position? How can black win? Yes, Vivan Visalsa, queen e5 check. Queen e5 check, correct move. Forced. If you play king to d7, then queen f6 is good enough. Queen f6, he will be paralyzed. So better go. Queen into knight is a draw. Suppose you play queen takes knight check, bishop pawn on 7th rank is a draw. All of you know that bishop pawn 7th rank, it is king is not in the zone. If you play queen takes knight, just king moves to g8, it is a draw. So he comes. Now check. Now check, take it. Winning the king. Now we have time to bring the king. The pawn on the 7th rank, but white king has made, black king is one more step closer. Then check. And now check and bring the king to g6, winning. Now 2-3 checks, e6, s3 and h7 mate. e6 check, s3 check and h7 mate, queen h7 mate. So the whole point is, you have to notice, you need to get a feeling. Many players, they have a feeling in opening stage that this kind of thing, attack will come. Actually, end game is much more harder, because in middle game, if you do not find the exact win the same way, you can play positional move, you can win another 10 moves. But in end game, the opportunity lost, everything changes. The only moves, for example, queen h8 check, and the whole point is here. The queen has come. Now if you play queen h8 check, knight f6 check, and now queens, draw. So a player need to be alert about all these things. Okay. All right, friends. Black to play this position. I have selected 10 knight endgames, then 5 endgames, and there are some games maybe also. So, how do you do about this position? Welcome Adi Jain. The plan is very, very simple and clear. Very easy. Grandmaster Injan, he was a student of Dorosky, and he is very good in endgame. I don't know. I think he was in the Dorosky camp. He was very good in endgame. Hello, Devers. So I will tell you, my friends, endgame is different from middle game. So don't think in middle game way. Don't think in middle game way. Vivan Vishal Shah says H4. I think it is not correct. Madhav says H4. No. Rethink again. Rethink again. You gain a tempo. You gain a tempo. Black's best chance, not NE3. No, no, not G3. No. You, very simple. Why don't you gain a tempo on the knight, king E3 and king F2? King E3 and king comes to a knight attack on the knight, and then you play king F2. It is a fantastic position. Yes. Gaming says king E3 is correct move. So king E3. Because now the knight, if now king is coming to F2 with threat of check, check and queening quickly. So this is a very good move. Now he plays knight. He has to play knight F5 because next move king coming, so only move. Now knight. Check, only move. You cannot play knight F5, pawn check is coming, only move. Now knight. It should win. You need to have a waiting move. The king move, there is a repetition. Suppose you play king F3, again check is coming. So, repetition. And here, H2 is a draw. Suppose you play pawn S2, it is a draw. You cannot win now. This is enough to draw. Because the pass pawn keeps the knight tied down, and now knight into pawn. It is a draw. After you take, he will push the pawn. And the pawn is queening with a check. If the pawn was on the H file, you are still winning. If the pawn, suppose the pawn is on H6, A6, you are still winning the game. But it is unfortunately, pawn is promoting, white pawn is promoting with a check. So there is no time for the knight. Time is important. That is why it's a draw. That is why he should not play H2 check. He is trying to coordinate to bring the knight, but now winning. And D2 is winning. If the pawn promotes, knight check is enough. Now the knight check is enough to win. Here, ND2, B6 will come, check, check, and now pawn queen check. The point is, still mechanically it is not working. You have to queen, force the knight, and then pawn push wins. Threatening to promote the pawn at both G1 and H1. Samdani and Samdani, welcome. So this is the whole point. At the beginning of the game, suppose, let us say, in the beginning of the game, you go H4. So H4 is, it is interesting move. I will play king G2. Now your king is unable to come to F2. You are unable to come to F2. This is the difficulty black is facing now. Now you cannot play g3. The trouble is started. That is why h4, you should think now king g2 will give you a hard time. Of course, it is not that it is a certain draw, but it is much more difficult. Whereas gaining a tempo, everything changes. Tempo, the knight must move. Now the knight has to keep a watch. There is no other move, zugzwang. Now knight h4 loses, check. And now mate will come. Next king will move to f1 and mate. Now this mate threat is coming. Okay, so I go for the next one. The position is white to play. Hello Karthik Chess. Position is white to play. My question is, can white save the game? क्या कोई any chance that white can save the game? Madhav Chess, मेरा main training of hand game is you must not play like a middle game. You have to give. I am giving you 7 minutes time. That means you must understand the position is hard. So the answer is coming only in 30 seconds. Karthik Sraf. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Madhav, just think again. Knight f1 will lose the game. Knight f1, king d5, king e4, king coming quickly. आप बनाइए. I will bring a cup of tea. It is wonderful position. Lot of things to learn from this. I said through two themes. There are two themes in this position. Very interesting themes. Hello, Birabhadra Singh. Good morning. Yes, Jay, good morning. Okay, I am giving you time. Think. No correct answer yet. Madhav chess, not correct. Knight f1, not correct. Knight c2, not correct. Knight f1, he simply plays king d5 and pawn e4 and king winning. And knight c2, simply knight exchange and winning the king pawn endgame. Knight c2 and d4 check will come. So think again. Chinmay Bokade says knight g4. Knight g4? क्या होगा उसमें? No, knight g4 not working. भिवान विशाल शाह सेज नाइट d1. भाई ब्लैक किंग एक्टिव हो जाएगा. अगर नाइट d1 करोगे तो ये किंग घुस जाएगा. इनफ. किंग d5 विल विन वेरी क्विकली. Chinmay says ng4, kd5, kc3. No. I am not convinced. Why Birabhadra Singh? You have to participate. Where is Adi Jain, Birabhadra Singh and Mukund Agarwal? Why don't you participate? नाइट c4 नहीं चलेगा. नहीं चलता है नाइट c4. नहीं चलता है. नाइट c4, किंग d5, nd2, kd4 विनिंग इजीली. Madhav just tried all the moves. Madhav, he tried knight f1, knight c2, nd1. Now finally knight f5. That is the correct move. That is the correct move. Knight f5, the king pawn ending is a draw. It does not look like, because white king is far away, but white king will obstruct the black king. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Madhav chess finally found the move. Knight f5. The king pawn ending is a draw. Knight f5. It is very difficult. Normally a player will not exchange a king pawn endgame, pawn down. The correct way. And that is a draw. King into. Only otherwise, if you play king f4, then king d3, no entry. No entry. Draw. So, king e4. Obstruction. King d2. Now king. king e2. This is a critical moment. This is again a very important critical moment. What should you do? The point is, mechanical king f3 will lose. If you play king f3, black will play king d3. Now, if white will go for the pawn, king f3 will lose the game. So, the correct move. King e3 is bad. Now, if you play king e3, losing. And you are in the zugzwang now. White is in zugzwang. Now, king e4, kd2 entry. Now, if you play ke4, kd2 is winning. Or ke2, then king d4 is winning. That is why, at the moment, not king e3, king d2. This is the draw. It is very difficult. It is very difficult. So, what white wants, the black pawn should move. He should run out of the pawn moves. Now, again waiting. Now, what to do now? So, king e3. Now, the point is, if you will play mechanically ke4, you will lose the game. So, you must not allow the black king coming. You must not allow the black king coming. So, king e2. Obstruction. Draw. Draw. Now, not again king e3. Not again king e3. kd1 will come. You see, at the moment, this looks tempting. kd1 will come. King into pawn, ke2 will come. So, I do not allow the king. Draw. Pawn push is a draw. So, only move. Pawn push, only move. And it is a stalemate, theoretical move. You can't push the pawn. That is leading to stalemate. And otherwise, if you play related square. These are related square. Related. These are related square. So, you cannot push the pawn. Draw. Because of this pawn, because of the pawn controlling, everything changes. Okay. So, this is very nice. It is very instructive to see knight f5. Very difficult. It looks lost because white king is far away. But just in time. Westernin is from Holland, Grandmaster Westernin, Helgi Westernin. And his opponent is one of the greatest endgame player of all time. One of the greatest endgame player. Now, it looks completely hopeless. But it is a draw. This is draw. This. Not king e3. King e3 will run into zugzwang. King e3 losing after this. You allow kd2 or kd4 now. That is why king d2. Now this. Now king e2. And now again king coming to e1. Not king e3 loses. So lot of accuracy is required. Okay. Let's move forward to the next one. This is between two grandmaster, Dmitry Gurevich, and black is also a legendary grandmaster, Max Dulugi. How should white play now? Hello, Parvatakar. This practical end games leading to theoretical positions. So this position, actually white is winning. But how? Ramakrishna, what is the most effective way to study endgames? It is very simple. I have already told many times, I repeat, that first a player must go through the basic endgames thoroughly. In my opinion, there are 1500 basic endgame positions, around 1500, out of which 400, 500 absolute basics, which even a 1600 player will know easily. And then after you master the basic endgames, I told you the books also. Number 1, recommendation, Basic Chess Endings by Balasov and Brandsetter. Yuri Balasov and Brandsetter. 888 theoretical positions. Very good. Second book I recommend, Chess Endgame Theory and Practice by Alexander Panchenko. There are 2 volumes in English and Russian 1 volume. Basic Chess Endings. Very good book. Number 3 book, I would recommend, Fundamental Chess Endings, or I would say there are Bat Sport Chess Endgame. You get all basics. But in the book of Balasov and Panchenko, they explain the moves. Rubin Fine is very good, but Rubin Fine is very old book. There are some errors are there. So the book written by Dostoevsky is too detailed. So you don't need to go through at the moment. So master the basic endings from Balasov, Brandsetter or Alexander Panchenko, these 2 authors. And then study the practical endgames. I would say study the games of Wolf Anderson, always going to endgame. Vasily Smyslov, treating the middle game like an endgame, treating the whole middle game like an endgame. Amazing positions. If there is no action, Smyslov is too dangerous. Suppose a player like Tal is full of action. Suppose a player is positional, he has little chance against Smyslov. So, it is important that you know theoretical positions thoroughly and then study the classics and good players and practical examples. How to convert practical endgame to theoretical. Karthik Sraf says H4, H5. Not correct. Actually, I will tell you, I give example, I have made certain files. You study the games of Rafal Vaganian. From Vaganian's games, I went through. It took me maybe about 1 week. I found out this is a good game and leading to a correct good endgame. So Vaganian, Wolf Anderson, Valery Salo, Vasily Smyslov, Tigran Petrobotvinnik, there are Karas. Lot of good, and also other grandmasters are good. Any grandmaster is good in basic endgames. But it is not that easy. So first study the basics, then study the practical examples from these great players. The converting a technical plus. This position, it is winning for white. Karthik Sraf says H4, H5, not correct. H4, H5 will draw the game. Yes, knight H4. At the moment, black threat is to play knight F3 check. Knight F3 check is the threat. So, he will push the king. That is why you have to play knight H4. Exclamation. Very well done, Vivan Vishal Shah from Surat. Knight H4. Very well played. Stopping knight F3 check. Now black is in Zugzwang. Now there is no knight check. And the pawn is under attack. So you have to play knight. There is no other move to attack the pawn. But then knight G2 check. Sorry, knight G2, not check, knight G2. And now king. Now knight coming does not work. He attacks. So this is a critical moment. This is a critical moment. Critical moment means there are 2-3 choice. Sometime 2, sometime 3, 4. You have to find the right move at right time. A critical moment for white. Yes, Ng2. He played king f3. Now black attacks the knight. No, I do not. I totally disagree. The opening you choose leading to endgame. No. There are some opening variations. Roy Lopez exchange variation. Okay, Roy Lopez exchange variation, Spanish, is leading to typical endgames. This is, I agree, in certain variations, okay, Spanish exchange variation. Or I can say Berlin defense, that queen exchange, that endgame. Or you can say Queen's Gambit exchange variation, certain type of Karo Khan, some Corsonite attack or variation. There are few variations that leads to typical endgame, but not all openings. It is absolutely rubbish. Few variations decide a character of some endgames. Very few variations. In chess, there are 500 variations. So, if 5 variations are coming to a typical endgame, we cannot say opening decides the endgame. Somebody will say e4, e5. What is king pawn endgame? What is after the first move or second move? See, I told you in forum, but you never agree, Ramista. Okay. No, this now you have to. Bhivan Vishal Saha gave the correct move. Now king f3. Please answer. Please focus. You please focus on the diagram. Now the knight is attacked. How should white play? The point. How should white play now? Ramakrishna, I will show the opening variation. I will show at least 4 or 5 opening variation. That determines the endgame. I will show you. Okay, please now focus on the diagram. Yes, what should white do now? Om Desai, Ramakrishna, h4. Ramakrishna, congratulations. Finding the correct move. Knight, h4 directly. You can lose because now h4, king takes knight, pawn h5. Simply the black knight is unable to come. And it is a rook pass pawn. It is a rook pass pawn and the f5 pawn. So, well played. h4, Karthik Sraf and Ramakrishna. Correct move. h4. You have to take the knight. Whether you take or not, it hardly matters. So, king g2. Then, okay, it is lost. King g2, I play push. And now, nothing can stop. He cannot reach. Both the pawns will be gone. Okay. All right. Well done. So, let me take you to next one. Okay. How about this position? White to play. In the end game only many young players, especially young players, they are very talented, very good, but they make mistake in end game. Normally the veteran players, they make mistake in middle game because of the oversight, tiredness, but the veteran players normally do not make many mistakes in end game because of the experience. Now, I want you to find out how should white to play and win the game. Yeah. Who is this? AJ. AJ says G7. I don't understand giving the pawn for nothing. G7, you just give the pawn. Knight into G7 will come. Madhav says King F7. I'm not convinced. I don't see King F7 will work. Madhav says Knight F7. Vivan Vishal Knight F7. I tell you, no, young talented players make mistake only in end game. Knight F7 is a mistake. And it throws the win away. Knight F7 के बाद draw. Yes, Ramakrishna, you are right. Opening decides the middle game plan. That is correct. It is logical. Knight F7 is a mistake. Knight F7 is a mistake. Correct is Knight G8. Okay, I will show you. Now, Knight F7, it is not a mistake. It is just throwing away. We are not losing or anything. This is throwing away the win. What else? Pawn G7 is not coming. And now takes. And after taking it, he will catch. This is a theoretical draw. This is a theoretical draw. I maintain the opposition. The moment the knight moves, now, the moment the knight moves, King G5, King G4 is coming. After King G5, King G4 and H4. So, knight cannot move. And King moves, we will maintain the opposition. King E5, KG5. Just a minute. Hello? Hello, yes? हाँ, कौन बोल रहा है? नरेंद्र? हाँ, बोलिए साहब. हाँ साहब, अभी अच्छा है. मैं एक्चुअली जरा क्लास चल रहा है. मैं कैन आई कॉल यू एट 1 आवर, 1 घंटे के बाद? हाँ साहब, 1 घंटे में मैं करता हूँ. Sorry for the interruption. The point is, it is a draw. King E5, KG5. King E5, he will play KG5. And if you play here, this is a draw. Zugzwa. You cannot leave the knight. Draw here. That is the reason you should not play Knight F7. Knight G8 wins. Now, you see, it looks very strange. It is looking funny that you are blocking the queening square. But that is the winning plan. For example, now you come knight. You cannot sit down there now. Now there is no King F5 does not work. ये गया. अभी कोई check नहीं है. King into pawn not possible. Knight is hanging and knight cannot move. It is gone. So King F5 में win हो जाएगा ये. Lost. That is why you have to play knight with the idea Knight F5 and take the pawn if G7 is coming. But King, I am not running into check. Now knight. This is now winning. Forced. Now knight into knight, king pawn ending is lost. The only move. There is nothing better. Only move. Check. And winning the game. Next pawn push. Finish. Shiro's bishop S3. Opposite color bishop endgame. Brilliant bishop S3. Against Timman, I think. I guess it is against Timman or Sairavan. I am not sure. Siro played brilliantly. Okay. So this is absolutely brilliant move. You say NG8. Now these are the things that not normal in endgame. Not normal. NG8 wins. NF7, the mechanical move, it is a draw. Okay. Moving forward. Next. 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 Okay. Now he played the move King C6, which is a bad move. No, 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 no. Now King C6 is correct move. This is the correct move. Why? Because now you have to take the pawn. And this knight is defending, so you cannot attack the knight and take because the pawn will queen. So you have to come correctly, go for the pawn, and it is winning. It is very logical and correct move. So King C6 is correct. And now King attacks the pawn. So he will defend. Now this looks critical. King C4, he will repeat the moves. But if you play King C4, he will just repeat ND2. Again he will defend with NB3. Now king pawn endgame is threatened. Winning. Now after knight into knight, king into pawn, white will have in time to play KB6, KB7. For example, now knight into knight will lose. Knight into knight, king into knight, and now if you play king takes pawn, king, now king, king, just in time, just in time. Now just in time. So king C6 is the correct move. Somebody said that, no, I only made it quickly, unfortunately. So the correct move is King C6 and winning. Okay. So let's see the next one. The position is white to play. Madhav B5, Rishabh NE5 and King E5. I see three answers. I see Madhav's move is correct. Madhav, Madhusudan, Madhav, Kesav Madhav, who is the most humble, polite chess player, according to you? I would say the most humble, polite chess player. I mean, I would say VC Anand. Anand, you see, Anand is the most polite player. I have never seen making a derogatory comment or a bad remark against any player. Of course, in the history you will find many, but from the players you know, VC Anand, very polite player, always smiling, never talks badly of anybody. Pawn b5 is correct. Ivan Vishal Shah, Madhav says b5 is correct. b5. Because the king is coming dangerously. Now, knight check will not work. King c6 winning. And king d7 also does not work. You are obstructing. So b5 is a perfect move. He will play knight, king. Now knight into pawn. There is no other move. Unfortunately, the b7 is coming. Very quickly, whatever you do, unstoppable. King comes, pawn push, and it is a mating attack. Suppose now if you move pawn push, king c8 check, and then knight c5 wins the game easily. So the only move, king into. Now the point is, black is looking for a quick counter attack. See, this is bad. Draw. That is why not the mechanical king c4, but what you need is your knight must come to b1. The knight must come to the square. That is the whole point. The reason from here, knight will watch f3, e2, no king entry, s3, knight will watch all the squares. Black king has no entry, and when black plays g3, you can play f3. That is the idea. And white will have time to bring the king towards supporting. So this is the correct move. And knight is heading to g1. That is the only correct plan. Knight. Now we have reached. Suddenly the knight is watching the squares, and pawn is watching these two squares. That is a barricade. So even if you come to king h4, it is useless. King h4 be useless. That means you have to enter like this. By that time king c4 will come. That is the why knight g1, perfect move. You have built a fortress. Now g3 does not work. And now even if you play king f4 and g3, now if you play king f4, g3, he will play f3 and bring the king. Now I will play kc4, g3, f3, winning. King, just in time. It's all over. Now you play here. Suppose you play now king f1, knight e2 will come. Is winning. So very well done. b5 was the perfect move. But after b5, you need to find this maneuver. You need to find this knight f4 move. Many young players will hurriedly bring the king. They will think they bring the king quickly. No. If you play king here, it is a draw. King f5 and pawn g3 is coming. So knight comes now f4, and then maneuver the knight to g1. This, now knight, and this. I hope you understand the theme. Building a fortress is very important. Vivan, you say, I meant ne5 by writing ke5. Oh, okay. Okay, next. This is much more easier than the earlier ones. It is white to play, and you will find it very, very, very easy thing to work out. How should white play? How many answers? Vivan Bisalsa says ND2. Then Madhav says knight e5. Om Desai knight e5. So there are only two choices. You have to, king cannot move, so knight has to move to e5 or d2. So there are two players are for knight e5 and two players for nd2. Which is the correct one? Let the third one decide. Equal है, दो player nd2, दो player ne5. Now what should I do? One more answer I want. आपके पास दो ही वेरिएशन है, नाइट e5 या nd2. Somebody, please come forward. I want another person to answer. One more person. Majority wins. Yes. Now another answer has come. Birabhadra Singh. ND2. Correct answer. 3 persons ND2. Knight e5. In the actual game, Grandmaster Ghisteku, Romanian Grandmaster, played the bad move knight e5. He played this bad. Knight b6. Bad move. Whereas knight d2 would have drawn the game. Knight d2 draw. Okay, first let us see the mistake. Knight d2, now king. He has to come here. There is nothing better. If you play knight c4, this is just winning. Okay. Knight c4, then I will play maybe knight into pawn should win the game. So he plays now knight to, then pawn check. Because king coming, it is just losing further easily. So only move. Knight. Lost now. No knight check and the pawn is gone. Check and you will trap the knight. The point is now the white knight on b1 is trapped. So you have to come in the knight check, finish. Lost. However, in the beginning, instead of the bad move knight b6 or in the beginning knight e5 or knight b6, nd2 draw. Now you can't give check, no king b3. The whole point is the king b3 was coming, the knight is covering that square. No pawns. Draw. Zugzwang. Okay, if you play king a3, then knight into pawn and king c3 draw. So only move. Draw. Hello, Aksar Jala, welcome. But it is not easy, very difficult. I mean, if you practice a lot, it becomes very easy. You have to practice daily, 15 end games, 15 combinations, 2 classic games. Next, okay. This position, again a tricky position. It is black to play. Black is in check. That means आपके पास दो वेरिएशन है, king h8 और king f8. What should black do? Yes, in that puzzle. I understand, Madhav. I know what you are referring. Now this puzzle, black has two choices. Go to f8 or h8. करना क्या है? व्हाट विल यू डू? ब्लैक किंग चेक में है, आपको डिसाइड करना है H8 में जाना है या F8 में जाना है. रिजल्ट बदल जाएगा. करेक्ट मूव्स खेलना पड़ेगा. So I have a one answer from Madhav. Madhav Kesav Madhusudan says King F8. Ketas Muksid Saha, welcome. Madhav का आंसर है King H8. Any other answer? Vivan Vishal Saha plays King H8. Anybody else? किंग को दो ही स्क्वायर है H8 में या F8 में. सो आई गॉट 2 players, 3 players, चिन्मय बोखाड़े, विवान विशाल साहा एंड माधव. किंग H8. सो shall we go King H8 or anybody else? Anybody else? So I will move king. Anybody else? बहुत कुछ चेंज हो जाता है. Basically, I will tell you that it is very natural. King is more safer at H8, but it is a wrong move. King H8 loses the game. Very strange. This natural move, 90% youngster will play only King H8. मैं भी खेलूंगा वही, unless मैं देखा हूं ये पोजीशन, इसीलिए मैं कह रहा हूं. Otherwise, I would have played King H8 only. But King H8 loses. For example, suppose you play King H8, it is losing. How? He will play Pawn H6. आपको तो मारना पड़ेगा. Force move है. Now this is the move. This is the point. Knight will hurry up. Check, pawn push. Knight will hurry up. Now king. This is the point. Not knight check. King pawn ending is a draw. Not knight check. Knight and kg8. He will play king. Now zugzwang mein hai abhi. Now black has to move to king to h7, taking a square of the knight. Now knight, pawn, knight check, force the king to h7. You cannot play g8, pawn check, queen ho jayega, king h7. That is the point. King h7 taking the square of the knight. Now knight check does not work. No more check. Knight check, and now knight cannot come to h7. The whole point. King does not work. Pawn queen. So king h8 loses by force. King h8 loses by force after pawn push, forced. Now king forced. Whatever you do, nd3 does not work. Only move. Now only move. The only move. Nothing better. He is simply threatening pawn push. Pawn push is threatened. Only move. This is important. Now pawn push is a draw. If you push the pawn, knight check and knight h7 draw. So give the check. Let the king goes to a square where knight cannot come. Now push. Now knight check, king d8, lost. This is the point. So the correct move is king f8, draw. Now king f8, draw. Takes. No problem. Now if you push the pawn, knight check is coming. Suppose you push the pawn, knight check is coming. And now king will enter to g7, or I will keep repeating. I will keep on repeating by knight g4 check, king h6, ng4, repetition. So king into pawn, knight check. Now king into f6, knight check, draw. Suppose you take check, draw. This check. You have to watch g7 square, knight check. You have to watch g6, g7 square, draw. So we have done today some interesting thematic knight endgames, and I will discuss now some few king pawn endgames which I have repeating. I have done in the past. Let me check whether you understood or you remember the theme. Okay, so let's go. Come on, 5 king pawn endgames. Black to play. How should black play here? Then I will show some game of Mikhail Tal. Very good. I appreciate. Veerabhadra Singh remembers. Vivan Vishal Shah remembers. E3. The correct move, correct move. There is a question by Subrat Vishwasa. You did not go to king f6 variation. Okay, I will go back to the position. I will go back to the position. E3. The point is, when you come for the pawn, he also come for the pawn. That means now you push, he has to take, and king e4. And winning the king pawn endgame. Forced, you have to take it, no choice. Forced. Now this is the point. Winning the game. Very well played. Okay, I will go back to the position. What you mean in that position? Here I say king f8 only correct move. Now this is losing. This is losing to pawn h6. Series of force moves. Push. Now king. Now threatening a pawn push is coming. There is nothing. If you play king h7, just f7 itself is finished. So only move. Now give a check. Force the king. You cannot play kg8. Force. Now pawn push. So it is winning. And let us say the other line, main line, where is Subrat Vishwas says. Subrat says king f8, king f8. Now pawn push. Push. King f6, what is the question? He says instead of h7. Instead of h7, what is the answer? What is the answer? What he says? Go to king f6 variation. Okay, king f6 I went. Now he plays h6. Now what do you want? This is a position, king f8, pawn push, takes, pawn push, forced, takes. Now what do you want? And take b6 pawn. What is this? I'm sure now you have to play h7. Now there is nothing better. Knight has to hurry up. The king has no move. Any king move, pawn push wins. So knight has to hurry up. h7. So what is the question here? Subrat Vishwas, I don't get your question. I don't get what you want. Sir, you did not go to king f6 variation. Yeah, king f6 variation only I am discussing. Check, and now knight check perpetual, or you go to anywhere perpetual. Repetition. Nothing. I just wanted to see nf2. Okay. All right. So we have done this one. This is pawn e3 wins. Next, the position is very interesting from the Istanbul Olympiad. Black to play. I have done this position. A repetition. A repetition. How should white play? करना क्या है भाई? वाइट टू प्ले. हम जल्दी जल्दी करेंगे तो आई कैन शो फ्रॉम 2 वंडरफुल गेम्स ऑफ मिखाइल टाल. The summer has arrived, feeling warm now. The summer has arrived. Okay, I will go back to that puzzle. I will go back. First to solve. Already I have put it. You solve this. White to play. What should white do? Please try any 6 in that puzzle. King h8 and king f8. चिन्मय बोकाडे सेस किंग f6. और कोई आंसर? और I have done this puzzle. I have done this puzzle. So there is one answer. I want more answers, more people to participate. I will not tell this is right or wrong. Madhav, I will go back to the puzzle. Madhav says king f5. Chinmay Bokade says king f6. Vivan Vishal Shah king f6. Aum Desai king f5. There is a lot of people king f6 and there are also some players king f5. आपको मालूम है किंग पॉन एंडिंग में देर आर वेरी मेनी गुड थीम्स बट वन थीम इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन द रनिंग रेस. चलो आई गिव सम मोर टाइम. करो. Three players for king f5 and 3 players for king f6. Which one should I do? I want players to participate. More players, more answers. Come on, come on. It is arithmetical calculation. Jugal Mehta says king f6. Some more answers. Some more answers. Diagonal opposition. No, no, no. This is not based on opposition. Ivan Vishal says king f6. Public demand बहुत है king f6 के ऊपर. Some more answers. At least one more player to answer, then only I will discuss. I wait for one more player. Okay. Okay, I will tell you, king f6 is wrong and king f5 is also wrong. King f6 loses, king f5 also loses. In the game, white played king d6, that also loses. King f5 will lose, king f6 will lose, king d6 will lose. The only correct move, king e7. देखिए, in the actual game he played king, this is the correct move. If you play king d6, losing. This is losing. This is losing. King. Now king. Now why he will queen and control. He will queen and control the square. नहीं पहुंच पाएगा आप. So in the actual game he played. Now king d6 loses. Now king f6. The whole point is अभी this is the correct move. क्यों? The point is the king is an ideal place. अभी क्या है? Let us see. This king will come 1, 2, 3. He will also come 1, 2, 3. When you take the pawn, he will take. Now suppose you come here 1, 2, 3. He will also play 1, 2, 3. The king is an ideal place to watch both the pawn in 3 squares. Black will take the pawn in 3 moves and or this side 3 moves. You are also in time. You are also in time to take the black pawn in 3 squares. You are in the right place. Now king D in the game, king d6 loses because you are away from this pawn now. ये pawn आजाद हो गया अभी. अभी हो जाएगा काम खत्म. काम तमाम हो गया. हो गया. Finish. Finish. Queen. If you play king f6, this is also losing. Suppose now you play king f6 or king f5. Suppose you play king f6, king f5. The फर्क क्या है? अभी I will come, you will come. अरे ये नहीं, king आएगा. King, अरे you attack the pawn. Then I attack, you take, I take. The point is, I am faster. Much faster. Much faster. So, and if you see other way, that means the king is here, the king is in right place. The king here, here it is 3 squares. Here 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or here 1, 2, 3. So the king here is the correct one to play 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3. Right place. Right place. You go anywhere, 3 square you capture, I will capture. I hope it is clear. What in the world is king e7? In the world, king e7 is watching both the pawns in 3 squares. The whole point is you are in right place to take the pawn in 3 squares. He will come 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3. You are just in time. You go for the pawn, I will go for the h pawn. You go for the a pawn, I will go for the b pawn. I will have to put that. Hey, Baba. Okay. So I hope the concept is clear for you, that you have to be very careful in your arithmetical calculation. All right. So next I go, okay, who was asking in that puzzle, king f6, king, I will go for the puzzle. I will go for the puzzle. This is the one who was asking, somebody was asking here, king f8 is the correct move. And now you play pawn push. There is nothing. You play h pawn, it is an easy draw, only move. This, now pawn push. What is the question I did not get? Can you please ask me the question what somebody was asking? Hello, Kamal Makecha. Now, can somebody was asking me about the puzzle. Please repeat the question or I will go move forward quickly. कोई तो मुझे बोलो, somebody was asking about this puzzle. See, this is forced. I have to play this move. H pawn is, there is nothing, only move. Take, and now only move. Time. You don't have time to take such. This is best of. Knight is coming faster. So, hurry up with the pawn. Right? Abhi aayega. Zugzwang. King cannot move. Yeah, king h8 was winning. I told you already, Madhav. King h8 was losing. I told you in the beginning. I told king h8 loses. I told this loses to pawn push. And then king f7. Now pawn push. And now king. Zugzwang. Now it is a zugzwang. You have to attack. Now not mechanical pawn push. It is a bad move. You take the square from knight. Knight check. You are forcing the king. Then knight is not getting the square of h7. And now pawn push. Ne6. You played nh6. Okay. You play ne6. Here you play this move. Namaskar. You play knight e6. Now knight h4 is losing because you give a knight check, force the king and pawn push. Okay, you say knight e6. Okay, instead of this move, your answer is knight. This is very easy. आपको कैसा जीतना है अभी? कोई चेक वीक नहीं है. So पुश करो और खुश रहो. पान पुश, तबियत खुश. अब क्या करोगे? All you need to attack the knight. अभी नाइट का मूव करोगे तो किंग d7 wins. So only move king. In that case क्या करना है भाई? I think this should win. Idea, I am just giving a threat. kg7 में क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? नाइट आ जाएगा. अब यू प्ले नाइट तो नाइट कट जाएगा. नाइट यू लूज द नाइट. kg7 नाइट आएगा. नाइट f8, नाइट h5 विंस और नाइट इंटू नाइट क्वीन. क्या करेगा? गणपत हो गया. अभी नाइट चेक को किंग आ जाएगा. नो चेक पोजीशन. गणपति बाप्पा. सो दिस इज लॉस्ट. ऑल यू नीड नाउ, आपको बस ये नाइट को अटैक करना है, कुछ नहीं करना. नाइट आ जाओ. द थ्रेट. किंग g7 loses. Now king g7 loses to knight attack knight. Knight f8, knight h5 check. Now knight c7 check king. And knight f8, knight h5. Knight on knight, pawn queen. Lost. Okay. So you want to play not this move, direct king g7. कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. ये तो काम आसान हो जाएगा और आसान. नाइट चेक आएगा. आसान हो जाएगा. जाओ. कीप मूविंग. नेक्स्ट नाइट किंग विल कम. अभी आप कहीं कहीं भी जाओ, मैं किंग आने वाला हूं. आप कहीं भी जाओ, नेक्स्ट किंग आएगा, नाइट अटैक करेंगे, इसको खत्म हो जाएगा, बात खत्म. किंग G7 लूजेस एंड किंग H7 लूजेस. ओके, किंग F6. Oh, king F6. Aha. King F6. King F6. Very interesting. नाइट इंटू पॉन खा जाओ. अरे बाप रे, ये चेक आएगा किंग. या दिस शुड स्टिल विन. विनिंग. अभी चेक आएगा. So your pawn, you cannot attack the pawn anyway. The king comes. Now king comes. Zugzwang आ जाएगा. So king F6 नहीं चलता है. Lost anyway. और नाइट आएगा. अभी you may play knight. अभी ये pawn protected है. किंग यहां आ जाओ. डोंट गो अटैक, किंग यहां जाओ. नेक्स्ट किंग. खत्म, बात खत्म. नाइट आएगा, किंग. सो किंग E7 आएगा, नाइट इज स्टक. अभी किंग E7 ही आएगा. बस अभी आपको नाइट को अटैक करना है, बस. ऑल यू नीड टू अटैक द नाइट. चेक. एंड देन नाइट को अटैक करो, बस. नाइट को यहां से अटैक करो. नाइट को, बिकॉज यू कैन चेक नाउ. अभी नाइट ऑन नाइट नहीं मरता है. गया गेम. ओके, इट इज एनीवे लॉस्ट. नाइट किंग E7, नाइट चेक. अभी किंग आएगा. नॉट दिस वे. नाइट यहां से ही अटैक करो, बात खत्म. ओके, आई थिंक दिस इज बेसिक एंड गेम. So we should move forward. एंड ये कर दिया मैंने. ये तो हो गया E3. ये भी हो गया किंग E7. ये भी हो गया ना, ये नहीं किया. चलो, नमस्ते साहब. चलो, white to play and win. Find out about it. आज दोपहर का सेशन में क्लासिक गेम्स, बट एक्शन पैक्ड क्लासिक गेम्स, ब्रीफ गेम्स आई विल शो. ये जो यंग प्लेयर्स है ना, इनका एक ही गलती, यंग मिस्टेक करते हैं एंड गेम में. एंड गेम में मिडिल गेम जैसा खेलते हैं. ऐसा मत करो. इन मिडिल गेम winning material, mating threats, but in end game, the correct method of playing. By one. भाई बन. आज क्या तारीख है? आज ये हो गया 20 तारीख हो गया फरवरी. I studied some games in this line. This line white has advantage. The line which you are showing me, white has an advantage because this is an idea of David Bronstein. You know Ramakrishna. It was first David Bronstein started this line for black. But today he showed idea how to repeat. But today this line stands white better. Bishop d7 is the idea of David Bronstein. But little earlier. Find out how should white play. Can white win this? माधव एंड विवान विशाल शाह नेचुरल मूव्स इन एंड गेम नहीं चलता है, इसीलिए तुम्हें यह दिया है कि नेचुरल किंग इज 7 ड्रॉ. Method of play, correct method, not in middle game like grabbing material. Now you come to the point. Oh no, Madhav just don't say or. आपको एंड गेम में ये नहीं तो ऐसा नहीं करना है. You have to say correct move. Only one. Don't say Ke7 or G4. ऐसा नहीं चलता है. Only move G4, correct move. G4 is the winning move. There is Marth Godani. Okay, welcome. G4 in the game, G4 is winning. But actually he played bad move. ये ड्रॉ हो गया अभी. ड्रॉ हो गया. Now king. हो गया कम. Now attack आ रहा है. Now king H7, king counter play. G3 को F3 आएगा. हो गया. This is draw. You know, rook pawn or bishop pawn on the 7th rank, it is a draw when the king is other king is far away. So defending can draw when his opponent's king is far away. 7th rank pawn. So this is a draw. And if you play other move, ये जो है ये G4 on G4 you black cannot get this move. The whole point is here this is a draw. So you play now king is 6, नहीं चलता है. You are far away from the pawns. Far away. हो गया काम. Draw. That is why correct move G4 preventing the resource F5. G4. Correct? G4. This wins. So king is 7 draw. Chinmoy Bokade king is 7 I told you F5 draw होता है. But now G4 के बाद it is too slow. Now no F5 is coming. Take this winning because the pass pawn of white is advanced. You take, he will take. You take, he will just come. Now मैं 6th rank में 5th rank में you are not started. 3 मूव में आप यहीं पहुंचेगा अभी. It will not reach. It will not reach. Winning easily. Okay. So I go one more end game. One more. Then I will discuss Ramakrishna's question. White to play. Result क्या होना होगा अभी? 3 pawn. White to play. Bye, Madhav. Madhav, it is white cannot play KC6. Why? Illegal. Bye, Madhav. Yes, king c5. Madhav's notation was wrong. You are right. King c5 is the correct move. King c5 correct move. So he comes h5. There is nothing better. You just wait. Don't push the pawn. You play king. He will push. Now again you wait. Black cannot move king e6 because king e6 wins for white. King 6. So only move. This is bad. Now black should not lose the coolness. He must play king. This is a bad move. King e6, king c6 wins. So this is the correct move. Draw. You can't win with the pawn. Now this is a draw. Draw. Trading pawns. Forced है because this is a threat now. This is a threat now. So ये force move है. Pawns are paralyzed. हो गया काम. Draw. Now this is a rook pawn and the king is in time. You go easily draw. Or go to here. It is a draw anywhere. So this is the way he should have done, but black played bad move. Instead of playing king c7, he played here h3. Ambitious move. h3. Lost. अब ये गया, game गया. हो गया. Now you have to move. There is no time for him to play kc7 now. King e6. Only move. हो गया. अरे ये तो बहुत दूर है अभी. खत्म. This is the one destroying him. मारना पड़ेगा नहीं तो दो पास पान. Otherwise pawn h4 only move. Zugzwang. You push the pawn, king e4 wins, or you move the king e5 wins. Now pawn d5 d6 d5. The point is this is coming, but you are queening with check. The whole point. Check के साथ queen होगा. Okay. All right. I hope it is very clear to you now that you should wait patiently. King. Now correct move. King c7 draw. King c7 remi. But bad move and lost. Okay, I leave this now. What is Ramakrishna's question? I will attend. I hope you understand. Any question in this diagram? Any question? Okay, I will now go to the question of Ramakrishna. I think you have done all this successfully. नहीं एक और है. क्या बात है? एक और है. One more position we are having. This I have done. White to play and win. White to play and win. Vivan Vishal Shah's move is pawn e6. End game arena. E6. Chinmay Bokade, no. Vivan Vishal Shah and Chinmay Bokade says E6. One more answer I want. One more player to participate. At least one more. Come on, quick. Veerabhadra Singh E6. Unfortunately, आपका white is the winning position और E6 you throw away the win. आपका win हाथ से छूट जाएगा. The correct move is G3. G3 wins. देखो अभी क्या होता है, G3 is the winning move. But why E6 is draw? Suppose you play किसका move है ये? G3 is winning. Suppose you play E6, it is bad. वो मारेगा ये push. Draw. Now the point is you will make it a rook pawn. हो गया. अब stalemate करो. If you play stalemate and if you go for the pawn, you are left with a rook pawn. This is the point. So where you play E6, F6 and then G4, G5 draw. You have to play this. Now pawn into pawn is nothing, only move. Now this is the beautiful move. मारना पड़ेगा. हो गया ड्रॉ. ओके बट इफ यू प्ले G3 ये नौबत नहीं आएगा. यू प्ले G3 जुगजुआंग अभी F6 नहीं चलेगा. F6 अभी किंग F8 में नहीं चलता है और E6 आने वाला है. जुगजुआंग. ओके G3 wins now, hands down, only move. Okay, if you play king F8, this is winning. Zugzwang, complete zugzwang. Now king E8, now king G7, next king E7. So only move. Now the break. अब ये नहीं चलेगा. This wins. Mate हो जाएगा अभी. अब 4 king D7, king F7 wins. Okay. So okay. Friends, I leave this. Now what Ramakrishna? Is he there? Now Ramakrishna? He was asking me question. Hey Ramakrishna? Is he there? I think he has left. Okay, we'll discuss the question of D4, D5, on the C4, E6. Now this Catalan question he was asking, he has left. I will discuss this later. Now G3, D5, D4, and F6. Okay, C4, E6, G3, D5, Bishop G2, DC4. Now he says Queen A4, NF3. Oh, Queen A4 check, then Bishop D7, and Queen takes pawn, Bishops. This is Braunstein's idea, David Braunstein. Now Knight F3 you have to play, then, Knight F3, Bishop D5. And now Queen here, again Bishop E4. और आया तो रिपीट करते जाएगा. You play, I will keep repeating. Now that means you come back, then you get the freedom. You get the freedom. एक बार C5 मिल गया तो गेम इक्वल हो गया, ड्रॉ इक्वल हो गया. सो ये डेविड ब्रॉन्स्टन का आइडिया है, बट देर इज अ लॉट ऑफ इंप्रूवमेंट इन दिस लाइन. सो क्वीन हियर, instead of okay, you can play this queen takes pawn, and now not necessarily now this position white has found lot of improvement. If you play nf3 bd5 and queen c2, Bronstein's idea is okay, but after the move queen into c6 bishop c, queen into c4 bishop c6, let me show you. Marth Godani, what is that? Okay, so here किधर है भाई? हाँ, now there has been lot of changes in that direction. So I will take you to a modern game. Okay, let us say a game between a top player. Now knight f3 bd5. Now check. Now this is the move. Because if you play queen to, now the point is if you play queen here, bishop e4 is centrally placed. Bishop e4 I will come. So push the bishop to place where knight belongs. Now come. Now bishop e4 I will be met with knight c3. White stands better. White stands better. Seizing the e5 square. वो जिंदगी में नहीं मिलेगा. अभी बिशप मूव करो टू प्ले c5 प्लस माइनस. rc1 is coming. So the correct method of play, let us say another great player, scientific player, Dorfman. Now this. The point is, now pawn into pawn will lead to nothing. After pawn into pawn, the queen exchange and black has full compensation. You will get back. So, white better. Now queen side is weak. After bishop takes, king takes, white has a lead in development and c7 will come under pressure. अभी मारेगा मारेगा. Now you better stop and knight b5. He has to stop knight b5. ऐसा करेगा तो जाएगा अभी. गया. a6 खेलो या c6 खेलो. So I leave this line and we'll discuss some interesting classic games, active games from the past in the afternoon session. Games of Paul Keres, Dr. Taras, Mikhail Tal, okay, Gennady Kuzmin. We'll select some games and see you at 2:30 in the afternoon. तब तक सबको मेरा नमस्कार. Take care. Bye.